Welcome back, Truth Seeker. Friday, July 12th, 2019, and we have another resignation in the Trump administration. As I've been documenting since the beginning of 2017, nearly every resignation in the Trump administration comes on a Friday, and the pattern continues. Of course, in the code of Gematria, resign and Friday have a perfect overlap. And if you go to my blog and just search Friday and resign, you'll just see how many of these stories there have been. Tom Price was one. The ambassador to Panama under Trump even resigned on a Friday. Brett McGurk was another. Pence's doctor, Mike Pence. Acosta, the latest. Keith Schiller was another, and there's been many more. Friday, resignations, Trump administration, again and again and again. So, with that part out of the way, let's look at what else stands out about this. He's the 26th Secretary of Labor. Yesterday, the Dow just hit 27,000, 27 days after Trump's birthday. Today's 28 days after Trump's birthday, and that means the 28th Secretary of Labor will replace this man because of his resignation. His full name is, I don't know if it's pronounced Rene or Reen. Either way, his full name, Rene Alexander Acosta. Notice it sums to 185, just like Donald John Trump 185, just like Secret Society 185. His full name also sums to 112, like Donald. We've demonstrated how many members of his cabinet have the same numbers that correspond with the president's name. His full name also sums to 77, big number in D.C., the city on the 77th meridian, where that number shows up again and again and again. Just yesterday, they had to put in the headlines that Jeffrey Epstein's lawyer asked for him to do detention in his $77 million Upper East Side mansion. Upper East Side mansion equals 117, like how this request came on 11/7, July 11th. Of course, Acosta's resigning because people say years ago he let Epstein off the hook, gave him a slap on the wrist for molesting young girls. So, Acosta, his birthday is January 16th. He's 50 years old. Of course, Donald also equals 50. But from his 50th birthday to his resignation is 177 days later. That stands out. New World Order's 177. Propaganda's 177. Of course, if you work in the White House, you serve the New World Order. You're a puppet on strings, providing daily distractions, daily propaganda to keep the mind of the masses off what really matters, that they're all enslaved to a military police state empire. You're only as good as the amount of tax revenue you can generate for this machine. Today, July 12, 2019, it's also a date with 58 numerology. Of course, Donald Trump, the winner of the 58th U.S. presidential election, who announced he was running from the 58-story Trump Tower, who hired the 58-year-old Steve Ray for Inauguration Day, whose daughter, Ivanka, equals 58, who's been a centerpiece of the administration. And Hillary put out the book called What Happened When She Lost? What Happened, or equals 58. Same cipher that Freemasonry, Rosicrucian, and Secret Society do. Notice Secret Society's 58, 185, 77. All three of those numbers covered in this story. Of course, the Scottish Rite of Freemasonry has their headquarters in D.C. George Washington was a Scottish Rite Freemason. Washington equals 58, as does United States. Notice Scottish Rite of Freemasonry is also 127. Think about today. 12/7, July 12th. Scottish Rite of Freemasonry is also 143. The name Alexander Acosta, 143. Scottish Rite's also 57 and 78. That's interesting because this is connected to Epstein, who just made his appearance in court on July 8th, 7/8. And then July 11th was a date with 57 numerology yesterday. The Scottish Rite of Freemasonry clearly controls the puppet show in Washington, them and the Jesuits. Don't forget Donald Trump. His name equals 159 like Scottish Rite. Today, Donald Trump talked about how he had good taste because he kicked Epstein out of his club, and he said he didn't like Epstein, but he forgot to acknowledge that years ago he also said Epstein is a terrific guy, and Epstein likes the women almost as much as he does, except for Epstein's into a little bit younger women, meaning that Donald Trump was well aware of what Epstein had been up to for nearly 2 decades, because he made those comments, I believe, in 2002. So, Trump didn't talk about that part today. He just talked about how he kicked him out of the club and how he didn't like him. He forgot about the part about how he knew he was into young girls and used to be buddies with him. But that's the kind of guy Donald Trump is, Con man. Preys on the suckers, preys on the dumb sheep. The people he calls his base. But anyway, Donald Trump 159 like Scottish Rite. Of course, his family has Scottish ancestry. And June 14th is also the 165th day of the year. It's the flag's birthday as well, that Masonic symbol that it is. Scottish Rite, also 165. Couldn't get any more Scottish Rite than Donald Trump, who also went to the Jesuit school, Fordham University, who visited the Jesuit Pope by the numbers. And again, from Trump's birthday to this resignation 28 days later, leaving the hole for the 28th Secretary of Labor. So, no doubt another resignation ritual on a Friday, something we've been documenting for 2017, 2018, 2019, about 2.5 years. Same persistent patterns. And I was going to make a video on this yesterday, but I don't know. I just decided not to. I guess I'll cover it now. Again, Acosta, he made remarks in the past that he let Epstein go because he understood that he was connected to intelligence. And Derek Bros yesterday, he did a video on this, and he was speculating that perhaps Epstein was connected to Russian intelligence. And that's because Derek Bros is a guy who's on the right path, but a little bit of a sheep himself and still believes in the mainstream narrative. So, he's real into the Epstein thing. He's asking for people to give him money so he can go to the Epstein trial and do his own reporting on it. But honestly, Derek, if you're watching, man, you might as well ask for money to go to Disneyland or Hollywood and report on the latest movie, because there's no difference between these two things. This is theater. This is propaganda by the numbers. This is a distraction. Derek Bros yesterday said, some people are saying this is a distraction. It's not. This is important. No, it's not, Derek. You sound like such a sheep, man. Derek's going to be at Anarchadelphia. I'm going to have to help him shave the wool. But anyway, Derek, it's not Russian intelligence that he'd be working for. It'd be U.S. intelligence. And, case in point, this has been a big focal point in yesterday's news story, 117, and look at Central Intelligence Agency, 117, like the United States of America. Like when you write out 13, it's 117. Like when you write out CIA, it's 13. Poor Derek, he thinks his heroes are Edward Snowden, Julian Assange, and Chelsea Manning, 3 media stooges. Anyway, I shouldn't pick on Derek. He's not all that bad of a guy, but he is a bit of a sheep. So anyway, the lawyer also asked for detention in the Upper East Side mansion on 117, which of course equals 117. If you watch Derek's video, he just reads the news straight and doesn't even think about it. He reads out the $77 million mansion, doesn't even think about it on July 11th, 11/7. What's 11 times 7, Derek? Is it 77? Is there any reason for that to even be in the news story? Do you need to know that it's a $77 million mansion? You see, so many people, I swear these numbers have them under a spell. They can't see the obvious. But, of course, Epstein's Jewish. Judaism 77. They're the ones that work by this code of letters and numbers. Zionist is 77. Secret Society 77. United States is 77. Power 77. The date of this headline, or this story, court appearance date with 57 numerology. Jews 57. So, anyway, it's not hard to see. It's all news by the numbers from the Epstein arrest. Derek thought it was coincidental how all these things have been lining up by the numbers. It's all just a coincidence to him. But this is a real important story. Oh, man. So anyway, you can be a sheep or not. And sadly, most people are sheep and there's no helping them. And they can't see the obvious. They don't want to see the obvious. You know, they want to be part of the show. You know, people like Derek actually make me the most sad because they actually care about the truth, but then it's like they're just under too much of a spell to do anything about it. They just become part of the lie. You know, they still believe in the political system, voting, etc., etc. It's tragic. So. Anyway, we'll leave it there, Truth Seeker. Until next time.